What's up, gamers? So, I am making a horror fishing game. And so far, I've added in some water, as you can see, because water is pretty scary. And I've added this boat with some paddles that can paddle the boat. Kind of with magic. I don't know how they work, but I also don't want to add hands or anything because that's kind of hard. So I'm just kind of hoping, you know, nobody notices that the boat's rowing on its own. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all I've added so far. And even though the water is, you know, pretty terrifying, the game doesn't really seem that spooky or even really look that good. It's pretty bad. I mean, I don't know, but that grass doesn't really look like grass over there. So today, I am going to be turning this little lake level into like something actually good that's also a little bit spooky. And I have a vision. And I don't really know how to explain my vision, which is why I will show you. I have created a presentation. Okay, wait, actually, this is the wrong one. Ignore that. Here we go. I have created a presentation, how to make a fishing level, but like scary, because I want this game to be scary. So let's see. Step 1, terrain. So as you can see, I got a little example image here of a lake with some terrain around it. So that's kind of what I was going for. I need to like have a shape to the lake. I need to like have something. And if I look at the game, I mean, I've kind of got something. It's just like not very good. I kind of just took the paintbrush on the terrain tool and just kind of like went a little crazy with it. So I want to kind of redo this, but make it look kind of good. Like this example right here. And that's step 1. Whoa, terrain. I forgot I added that little animation. Step 2, stuff. Now, I know that's kind of vague, but I didn't really know how else to put it. So I have a couple examples here I can show you. Boom. Right here you can see that's a tree. I want to add some trees. And the other thing I want to add, rocks. Now this, I know this doesn't really look like a rock. I mean, it looks like the rock, but it doesn't look like a rock. But this is, when I search up Fortnite rock, this is the only thing that comes up. So this is the image that I have for it. But I want to add in some like trees and some rocks, maybe some grass, maybe some bushes. I don't know, just stuff, you know, just stuff. I'll probably figure it out as I go, but I want to add some stuff. Whoa, look at that guy. Did I add a lot of spins? I forgot how many spins I added to the presentation. Anyway, step 3. And this is kind of the most important step. Oh, I forgot to hide you weren't supposed to see that yet. I was supposed to reveal it like the other ones, but I forgot to add that in. Step 3 is spooky. So as you can see back here, you know, it's dark, it's misty, it's spooky. That's kind of what I'm going for because it's a horror fishing game. The water is already pretty spooky because water is just terrifying, but I need the game to have like some sort of scary atmosphere. So that is step 3, the third and final step. That'll really bring everything together. And now, the final results. I haven't actually made this yet, so I can't show you the final result, but I can show you like an idea of what the final result will look like. Boom. So as you can see, you've got the terrain of the lake here. It's dark out. It's spooky. So this is what I'm going to be trying to do today is make this. Now, I don't know if I can make something look this good because this is kind of a masterpiece, but I think I could get maybe like a little bit close. Maybe. I don't really know. I'm going to have to try. But so far, this is all I've got, which, you know, is a start, but I have a lot of work to do. All right. So I've been working on the terrain a little bit and I have taken it from looking like this. Wait, let me swap scenes to looking like this, which, you know, it does look a little bit more boring, but that's because it's not finished yet, okay? All I've done so far is, let me just remove the water plane. I have basically made the underwater part. So next I need to add some stuff around the edge of the terrain. And right now I've got it all kind of the same level, so I can kind of do whatever I want with it. I think I'll probably keep it fairly flat, and then I might have some hills in the back to hide the horizon, but I'll also have some fog, so that won't really be a problem. You know what? I think this is a good like starting point and I can always adjust it later. But I mean, it looks okay. I think once I add a bunch of other stuff to it, it'll look a lot nicer. And then I think it's also important to remember that I'm going to eventually add fog. So a lot of detail will get hidden. So I don't want to waste too much time working on stuff that's just not going to be visible. So I think this is probably good enough. And that means the next thing that I got to do is texture this, add some materials. So it's not just a checkered plane. It's not very immersive, checkered plane in a horror fishing game. So I'm going to go work on some textures. And once I'm done, I can make this level look nice, hopefully. Okay, so I've been working on some texturing and I think it's looking better than before. I also made a dirt texture. I can lower this a bit and I've got a nice dirt texture I can add as well. I've been making textures for like 3 days. Look at all the textures I made, dude. And that's only the dirt. Look at the grass. So many textures. But I think as far as texture goes, I mean, I spent 3 days making this many textures. I think this is probably good enough. I'm happy enough with this. I'll actually show you how I did this because initially I was using Aseprite, but then for this texture, which is still pixelated, but it's a little more detailed, for these new textures, I used Adobe Substance Painter, which is a pretty cool tool. I don't really know how it works, but I learned a little bit. Now, the only downside is that Adobe Substance Painter costs a lot of money. So, you know, I'm not really sure it was worth it. To distract myself from my bad financial decisions, I will be adding some grass shader on top of this. So instead of just having the flat plane with a grass texture, I will have grass that can like physically be there and sway in the wind and stuff, and it'll look pretty cool. And I created a grass shader, as you can see here, from my last game. Now, obviously, the art style doesn't really fit with that of my current game. It's quite a bit different, but all of the shader stuff and all the functionality, I can basically take over and then just change the texture. I am back, and I have created grass. Look at all this grass. Isn't it pretty cool? Now, I know this is tall grass, but over here, I have created short grass. So there's 2 heights. Kind of like this little unknown game called Minecraft where there's 1 block high grass and 2 block high grass. I kind of just did that. But unintentionally, I didn't mean to steal it, okay? It just kind of happened. Now, how I created this, basically, just in Blender, it's just 2 squares intersecting each other. And then I created some pixel art textures for the grass. Pretty neato. Then, what I did is created a grass shader. Well, I didn't really create it. I took it from another grass shader that I made by following a tutorial, so it's not really my grass shader. But basically what it does is it adds some wind and applies a texture that I can adjust with a color. And that bit of shader graph stuff gives me grass. And because the level is a terrain, why can't I, what happened to my terrain? The inspector tab is not active. Terrain inspector. Okay, I don't know what that was. But because this is a terrain, I can come over here to paint details. And as you can see, I can just paint in grass. Except, it's a pretty big level. So it's gonna take a little bit of time to paint it all. Before I paint in all the grass, I wanna actually just get an area looking pretty good so that I know what the overall level is gonna look like. And now that I've basically got all the terrain done and grass added, I think it's time to move on to the second step of making this level, which is stuff, if you remember, like trees and like the rock and stuff. Not like the rock, like a rock. That's probably a better way to put it. A rock, or like multiple rocks, you know? Anyway, that's what I'm gonna go do. Editor, cue the montage. Okay, welcome back, gamers. As you can see, I've created some things for the level. I've got this tree, which is pretty cool. Got a log, I've got a stump, and some rocks, which are from some other games that I've made. It's not a new model, but it's a new texture, which I created again with, I was gonna show you my Substance Painter project, but I don't have it open. Boom, I created this texture in Substance Painter. I don't really know how I made it look like this. I kind of just added a bunch of stuff and it came out like this. And I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, it looks like a rock, right? The tree is basically just a texture that I made. Actually, let me show you an Aseprite. I also need to open that in Steam. Boom, tree leaf texture. It's just this. This took me like 3 hours to do, dude. I spent so long making this. It is hard to get the shape right. It's really hard. But I think the final product looks pretty good. The only thing is, I mean, if you look at it right, I mean, the leaves aren't really centered, which I don't think is too noticeable, except, I did point it out, so it's probably a little bit more noticeable. And the reason it does that is because I created a separate leaves shader from the grass shader, and it changes like the direction of the wind and stuff, but like I don't really know how to do it properly, so it's like kind of like shifting to the side a little bit. Like if I go to the pine tree shader and I like increase the strength, it kind of like, it goes that way. I don't know why, but if I have the strength pretty low, you don't really notice, and it looks pretty cool. I think it looks decent, so I'll just leave it. And this isn't that much stuff to decorate this entire map, but I think I'm gonna end up hiding this behind fog anyway, and most of the game you're gonna be on the lake, so it's probably fine. I just now have to go through the process of decorating this entire map. That might take a little bit of time. I have just finished the grueling process of placing down every tree and log and rock and everything else I created on this map. I'm actually surprised how well it looks. I did not expect it to look this good. The only thing is, you're not actually gonna really see any of this. The stuff you're going to see is this on the other side of the lake, which, you know, doesn't look that high quality, and that's because Unity's tree system and detail system has a bunch of level of detail and distance rendering stuff to optimize it a bit. So, bit of a problem, but luckily, by adding some effects, which is stage 3 of making this level, this shouldn't be a problem, because over here, if I go to lighting, environment, I can hit the fog button. Boom. And it pretty much hides all the issues, which is great. And if you come up here, it actually, I think, makes this look even better. Before, after. Before, after. Okay, maybe it's not a massive change, but I can also change the density and I can put it up to something like this, and it makes quite a big difference. And that's, I mean, I guess kind of the level done. I think it is kind of funny. I spent so long working on this part of the level when the part of the level you play in is this water, which is still completely empty. And the underwater is also completely... Oh, how did these get... Okay, I didn't mean to put any logs down here. I guess they'll stay there. Okay. But the actual water's still empty. And that's kind of because I'm still deciding if I want to actually add stuff to the water or if I want to leave it empty. And speaking of water, which I don't drink because I exclusively drink Gamer Supps. Gamer Supps are having their Black Friday sale. So for the next 24 hours, you can get 20% off pretty much everything on the store by using my code. So if you want some Grand Mazashes or some lean or some guacamole Gamerfart 9000, make sure to go over and use my code. You'll get 20% off for the next 24 hours. Now, technically this isn't done because this is supposed to be a scary fishing game. I kind of want the game to take place at night, and right now all I've really got is the fog. If I take off the fog, I mean, it's just daytime. And if I put the fog on, it gets a little darker, but it's still daytime. The way to change this is basically just, I can take the directional light. I can just turn this down to like 0.5. Then I can go to my skybox and turn down the exposure like this. And then this is basically night. Now, I'm not going to do this for now, just because, you know, 1, it's really scary. And 2, I'm trying to make a entertaining video here. And if it's like at 10% brightness the entire time, I don't know if people are going to want to watch that. At least for now, I am going to keep it daytime like this. I actually might also add in a day-night cycle. Oh, also, one last thing I want to show you that I think is pretty cool, but I'm not 100% sold on it, so you'll have to let me know. I have added some fireflies. I guess it's a little obvious now because when I was making them, I had my lighting, or I had my fog a lot like heavier, like this. I think it adds a little nice thing, but I don't know if it's too much. So maybe let me know in the comments what you think about it, because I'm not too sure. I kind of like it, but I don't know if it's too much. But that is, I guess, my level done, which means I can finally move on to actually making some gameplay. I have been wanting to add fishing for so long, but that'll be the next video. If you want to download any of these assets, it'll all be on my Patreon. Make sure to go check out Gamer Supps' Black Friday deal, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, gamers.